This is going to be very prop minimal tonight. And I have very low light on, so the recording is not going to be great. Maybe I'll put some more light on just to be able to see. And we're just going to start with a little bit of support, maybe under your head, to give your head some height, and maybe something behind your knees. And we'll start in a very just simply supported Shavasana, lying down on your back. Okay. Meet you there. I think too, what I'll do is just put this a little bit lower. No, that one. And let's get this a little bit more over now. There. Should be good. Okay. Make yourselves comfortable. Comfortable supine, head supported, knees supported Shavasana. If you don't have a bolster, of course, you could just use a blanket, a rolled up blanket, or towel, or a couple of blankets underneath your knees. Okay, let's begin. Mr. Boo. So with your eyes closed, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, with your eyes closed, you start to notice first perhaps kind of gross sensations in the body. So the weight of your limbs, the sensation just of the floor underneath your back, bolster behind your knees, a blanket under your head. You might just notice that sensation of your weight kind of giving way to gravity. And take in what comfortable feels like. And notice the place or places in your body where you sense a release or a feeling of spaciousness, softness, effortlessness, a letting go of fatigue, strain, or tightness. Just take a first few minutes here to just get very close. tension wrapped around sensation. Be aware of any specific sensations in your head, your face. So you're feeling your breath. You might be hearing your breath. And you might also sense pulse, the beat of your heart. Let's take another 3 or 4 breaths. One bigger, deeper breath in and out through your nose. And then let's just move aside whatever prop it is you have behind your knees so that that is out of your way. And then bring your feet up to stand. A little bit of space between your heels, a little more space than usual between hips and heels. You might go a little wider with your feet. And then a very easy, a very relaxed, just turning of your knees, dropping of your knees from side to side, rolling over the soles of your feet. Drop your knees to the left, drop your knees to the right. If you want to add any more than that, of course, feel free to. A little deeper arch in the lower back, one side and then the other. If you're feeling a little tight or short in the hip flexors, in the fronts of your hips, in the creases at the fronts of your hips, you might just add that little push of the back foot. One more time to each side. And then let's extend the left leg. Bring the right knee into your right hand and then pull your right knee a little wider to the right. And then you're up and across into the opposite hand so you can turn the hips, taking that right knee across the midline and over to the left. It's very easy, let it be just loose. Everything we do here where you're lying on your back, very loose, very easy, very much without a lot of effort at all. Just let everything fall, just where it falls under its own weight. Twice more with your right knee, with your right leg, turning your hips to the left. And we'll let go of the right knee. Recenter your hips and your legs, re-extend your right leg. Bring the left knee into the left hand, drawing it up toward your shoulder, feeling that little bit of kind of jackknife-y stretch, and then take that left knee wide to the side, out and down toward the floor, and then up and across. Twice more here. And then returning, and again, recentering, rebalancing the hips and the lower back. Extend both legs. Pause here, take a breath. Good. And then that slightly longer movement of each leg. So we'll start with the right leg, where you're taking the knee right into external rotation at the hip, and the knee comes up. The leg looks a little bit like tree pose or cobbler's pose until your foot is standing on the floor, and then you cross the knee over and you push the hips to the left. Just a little extension of that first movement we did, and then the knee falls wide and the foot slides back down. Right foot goes back to meet the left foot. This works really well if you have soft floor. Bring yourself off your mat onto a soft floor, or if you have unfolded a blanket over your mat. And just take each turn as it comes, no hurry. And bring attention to just how smooth this movement feels. Smooth or rough, smooth or a little raggedy or a little jumpy. Is there any resistance? Let's do one more with the right foot, knee, hip, the whole right leg, and then the lower back. We'll let that right leg go. Right foot back down to meet left foot. Take a breath. All of that all over again, left foot. So outer left ankle, the knee goes out wide to the side and up, and then across. Let it take its time. Let it be slow. Let it be like molasses. And as you do with your breath, let attention stay really close to the very kind of barest little details of sensation. As we go once more up with the left foot and across, and you're just looking for how integrated or organic or how almost sort of organized all of that movement feels, how coordinated. And then we'll pause here again and take a breath. Okay, and then let's take the blanket out from behind your head. So the neck and the shoulders have some room, have some space to move as we move in and out of bridge pose. So you're going to come up with your feet hips distance apart with your feet, to feel for what that space feels like. And then we'll start with arms down alongside, and we'll come into bridge pose on exhalation. And the arms sweep up and over your head to the floor behind you. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come up. Keep going at your own pace. And let it be, comfortably slow. We don't want to move so slowly that we're causing discomfort or we're not looking to add stress or strain necessarily, or discomfort. But move slowly enough to, again, just attend to the subtle details of movement and coordination between your breath and what's moving. Let's do one more. You're inhaling to come down, and then just pause and rest through the exhale. let's take the arms a little bit away from the body. So it can be angled more downward, but away from the sides or out to the sides, just out from the shoulders. Take a breath in here and then come into bridge pose on the exhale. And hold yourself here. Take 4 or 5 breaths here. Right, so this doesn't, again, have to be like your more dynamic class where you're looking for the strength foundation of the pose. Just see where can you hold it where you're feeling like it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to be here. So if you're feeling strain in the low back, maybe drop your hips a little bit or do a little bit of a tuck. Maybe push a little more into your feet. Or maybe push a little into your arms. Hold your hips a little closer to the floor. Take another couple of breaths. And then spine to the floor, hips to the floor. So, maybe just moving a little bit back and forth from one end of the spectrum of effort to the other. And then take a breath here. Good. And then you'll bring yourself over onto your side. And we'll come up from there, just through the hands, come up. And then let's take a position on all fours on your hands and knees. All fours, moving and returning. Knees under hips, palms under shoulders. Move through cow pose and cat pose. Again, at your own pace. If you feel like pausing, staying a little longer at one end or the other. Just make it your own. And again, more attention to just how smooth the movements feel, how fluid the movement feels. How breath and movement carry themselves together. Again, playing with the ends of the spectrum to see where you fall a little, can you fall a little closer to the middle, to the less effortful end of the spectrum. So you move into the sides of the rib cage. So take a few side bends here, just into comfortable range of sensation. Let's do a few more on the exhale. You're just letting your hips set the hips back towards your heels. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Once more. And then from all fours, let's find a puppy dog pose, puppy pose, puppy pose. Hood's getting in my way. Okay, so again, and pad up your knees a little more if you feel like you don't have enough padding underneath your knees. But puppy pose comes from keeping your hips up in the air. So keeping your tailbone lifting, kind of pointing upward. So the hips stay back and over the knees. And then you just slide the hands forward. It's a modification of child's pose to some extent. But where you're going to feel slightly deeper bend in the upper back. Adjust just as you need to, as you feel things releasing, shoulders releasing, chest releasing, adjust the position of your head. Take another 3 or 4 breaths here. And then come just back up maybe into your forearms, so you can come back up onto all fours. And then we'll take a noose pose or thread the needle pose. So we're going to take the shoulders into rotation, right? And rest with one arm reaching through down onto the floor. Okay, if you don't like, or for whatever reason you can't have your head down below your heart, you could just practice turning, right? So I'm just lowering one forearm to the floor. And then coming back up, going from side to side, mobilizing the shoulders a little bit that way. Or you can also come onto your back, right onto your side lying position where we have the arms together out on the floor, away from the chest, in front of the chest, where we slide the arms a little bit past and then back across and open up through the upper back, chest, and shoulders that way. You could do that. If you want to do noose pose, we'll start with the right arm coming through, all the way through. The head rests just very comfortably on the floor. You might first just take top hand, pull bottom hand a little more. Or in other words, lean a little bit back through the right shoulder. And then this free arm can just rest. The free arm can help you press a little more deeply into rotation. You feel like your spine or ribcage wants that, you can rest your arm around your back. This gives me a little more extension on my left side where I tend to feel like I need it often. And then can you sink comfortably, breathe comfortably, and sink. One more breath on the side. And then let your free hand, your left hand, push the floor to help lift you up out of the pose, out of the turn. Breathe through around a cow pose, a cat pose. And we'll bring the left arm through. Two more breaths on this side. And then push through the right hand. Unwind, untwist, come back onto all fours. Take a round of cow pose, cat pose. And then we'll come down onto your belly. And go through the front of the shoulder, right? Savastikasana. So let's start with the left arm reaching out and onto the floor. So the palm is face down. The arm, if possible, is about level with your shoulder, maybe a little higher. And you can always play with the angle of this arm once you get over onto your side. And then you just push your free hand. Look away from that extended arm. Let your legs do whatever your legs want to do comfortably. Let's release from that side. We're slowly turn yourself back onto your belly. Release yourself from that shoulder. Turn your head, bring your arms down alongside you, take a breath. And so you're already looking away from your left arm, so slide it out. Slide that palm out and then begin to use your free left hand to help turn you over onto the right side. Two or three more breaths on this side. And then slide the legs back in, back onto on your belly, release the legs, bring your arms down alongside you with your elbows away, your elbows turned out, shoulders down, shoulders releasing toward the floor. Pause here, take a breath. Okay, and then let's bring the chin forward and the arms out from the shoulders, but bent at the elbows, 90-degree bends at the elbows like a goalpost. And then from there, just very simply, very easily, just follow the breath. And when you breathe in, look up and lift your head, a bit of your collarbones, your chest if possible, and then exhale, come down. Coordinate breath, let movement follow breath. Five more. Think about lifting from the upper back rather than your neck or your head. Maybe try to drop your gaze a little bit. And when you come down, you might try resting on your forehead instead of your chin. Two more. Finish this one, do one more. And then turn your head, rest one cheek to the floor, bring your arms back down alongside you. And then let's find pigeon pose. Okay, so as usual, lots of options for pigeon pose. If you want to just flip yourself onto your back, ankle to knee, move the knee away from you. And just come right back onto your back and go that way. You can face the floor, right, where you are taking the position from all fours. You bring a knee forward, foot slides over, come up on the back toes, slide back. If it doesn't bother your knee, you're having an intermittent, if you're having a knee issue and it feels like the pressure on the knee is causing a pinching kind of pain or sensation, go easy, go back onto your, just be on your back and just let it be. Let it feel restful. Try not to overlook any even subtle discomfort. Let's take another 3 or 4 breaths. I'm just going to shift to the reclining variation. Slowly release and switch when you're ready to switch. And again, just slowly, gently release, extend both legs, and take a moment just to pause. Feel what there is to feel. The feeling of that of hip flexion in the front of the hips releasing. The stretch around the back of the hips releasing. Backs of your knees open. Okay, and then let's find your bolster or what you're using in lieu of a bolster, and bring it right across the middle of your mat in the horizontal position. In the horizontal placement. We'll do a brief sideline over the bolster, and then we'll set up for Shavasana. Set the side of the rib cage, side seam of the body over the bolster. Support your head on a block, support your head on your lower arm, reach the top one over. Take 3 more breaths on this side, just 2 or 3 more breaths. I feel like just taking a moment to wind that top arm through the shoulder. Take that a few times in each direction, and then come up and switch sides. Good. Another breath or 2 here. The same movement of the top arm if you like. But use your arm strength to bring you back up. And then you could just end as you began. Support under the knees. Blanket support behind your head. So we've got a good, like maybe 8 minutes for Shavasana, which is nice. I believe you really need at least 10 to gain the fullest benefits. We take what we can get sometimes. But go ahead and make yourself comfortable again. Extra layers if you need extra layers. Just anything you need to in your environment to facilitate letting go. We are intentionally downregulating the nervous system in this practice. So feel what there is to feel in that light. Any pervading sense of calm, more internal quiet. Give yourself another minute here. Might start to just very gently move your toes, your feet, your ankles, fingers, hands, wrists. And let your head gently turn from side to side. Just pause to notice how you feel overall before you make your way up from your back. Could this practice help you to approach sleep a little better? Feel like it would help you to sleep a little better, prepare you for a good sleep. Bring yourself onto your side. Feeling the quality of that breath lying on your side. When you're ready to push yourself up, we roll up on your side. So ending your time here in a comfortable seat. Hold your practice. Honor your own commitment to this time. As always, I thank you for your time, and it's always an honor and a privilege to practice with you. Until I see you again, namaste. Enjoy the rest of your evening.